Good afternoon, Sergeant Harrison, Pinal County Sheriff's Office, Citizens Posse class, video number 3. This afternoon, or today, we're going to speak about home safety. We got a couple of tips for you that we're going to talk about, and how to be safe in the home, how to be safe in the vehicles. So our performance objectives today, we're going to cover home security, fire safety, pool safety, personal protection, and a little bit of vehicle safety. So home safety, your home is your kingdom. Your home is where you should feel the most comfortable with. So, and you put a lot of money every month into your mortgage, and you make sure that your home is comfortable to you and your family. So here are a few tips to help make that just a little bit safer, and some things that you can use or we recommend that you do. So make sure all your exterior doors and windows have reliable locks. Make sure that they are in proper working order, and make sure that there's a multitude of different styles of locks, but make sure you get one that works and works real good for you, that's not hard to open and not hanging and your keys work on it, that you can actually unlock and lock the door. Always look before opening a door, before you open up to an outsider knocking on your door. Make sure you take that step before you just open the door. Find out who it is before coming into it. Spare keys in obvious locations. The theory of putting a key underneath the mat has always been there for years, but that just helps out with the bad guy being able to lift up the mat and have full access to every one of your personal belongings, your precious items that you've saved up and you worked hard, your hard-earned money for. So let's not give away our items to the bad guy. Secure your sliding glass doors. Sliding glass doors in and of itself have pretty good locking mechanisms on it. There's other items that you can install on that. They have steel bars that go through the center of on the back side of the sliding glass door. You can also just cut a piece of wood and put it in the door itself at the base and be able to secure that sliding glass door. Even if the lock were to fail, they still can't get in. Some sliding glass doors I have seen where they put doggy or pet doors in there. Make sure that you secure those pet doors prior to installing that, and using any security mechanisms to keep that sliding glass door from sliding and that pet door from being removed with that glass. Garage doors. Keep your garage door closed at all times. It's imperative that you do that, because not everybody in your block and that doesn't belong there needs to see your items in your garage, whether it be your golf clubs, your quads, your ATCs, your tools, any projects that you're building that somebody else wants more than you do. So we want to keep all those items safe. Outside your front of your house, we want to make sure that you have motion sensors for your lights in and off or out of your home, near your gates, any access points where your house could be vulnerable, where folks can, bad guys could come in. And you can visually, a light will come on and distract them and deter them from coming on that and giving the impression somebody is home, or even if you are home, it scares them away that you're there. Keeping the drapes and the blinds shut. People that come up to your house, they don't need to see what's in your house. Keeping your blinds and your doors shut, having a good working set of blinds and drapes. They don't need to see your what you have, your computers. They don't need to see who's in there, especially if you're walking around. They don't need to see your children. They don't need to see anything about what's going on in your house. They need that is your property, that's your domain. That's where you need to keep your people and your family safe. Get out the garden shears. Keep your landscape low and do not cover the front door or window view. Try to make sure that your front door area is not too full of heavy brush and foliage. Keep it trimmed down. When we drive by as police officers and we start shining our lights in areas like that, when the foliage is too big, it makes it a very good concealment for a bad guy, and we can't see through that when we start seeing that. When you cut down the foliage towards the base of the tree or the shrub, we can see legs, we can see movement through there. So try to keep a lot of that trimmed up and where we can see beyond that, where you can see if somebody's out there standing by and hiding out in your bushes. Purchase alarms, indoor, outdoor cameras. In today's world, there are an absorbent amount of different styles of cameras, motion sensors, indoor and outdoor cameras that are for indoor, that outdoor for weatherproofing. There's a lot of different styles that are out there. You just need to pick and choose which one, whether it goes off of Wi-Fi or it runs off of a loop or goes through a commercial company. But you can find indoor and outdoor cameras that are reasonably priced. I just found some for about $250 that came with 5 cameras and hooked up to my Wi-Fi, and I could see it from my cell phone from anywhere in the United States. Make sure you light up those dark areas around your front area, your side gates. If somebody comes there, it lights them up so that nobody can see, or you can see those person or persons coming down that area. That way you don't get blindsided by anybody. Here's one that we see quite a bit often in the sheriff's office, is that on social media, whether it be Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or any of the social media outlets, posting your location while you're out and about on your vacation. What does that tell the bad guy? That tells the bad guy that, guess what? You're not at the house. And they can come to your house because there's nobody there, and they have free rein to your wanted items. You may have your security cameras in play, you may have a lot of that, but I want you to be aware, if you don't have some of those items that can protect yourself, they have free rein and they know exactly where you're at, and they know that you're vulnerable at some point because they know exactly where you are at all given times. So try not to post your plans on vacation or any social media outlet. If you choose to get a security service, ADT or one of the monitoring brinks, put that sign in the yard. Put a few of the stickers up on the back windows or on the sliding glass door. It lets that bad guy know that somebody else is always monitoring your house 24/7 so you're not vulnerable, or if you're not there, that they can watch it for you. Those are huge pluses in your arsenal of defense to help you and your family out to stay safe and to protect your belongings. Next thing is fire safety in your house. Make sure your smoke detectors are working, and replace the batteries at least once a year. I personally, after the first of the year, I replace all my smoke alarm batteries as soon as the first of the year comes, right after New Year's. I replace them. That's my clue to replace everything every year. Avoid overloading outlets and extension cords. I see a lot of folks that do this. They may have 6 or 8 things plugged into one of those ones that plug an outlet that plugs into another outlet that has 9 or 10 different items on it. Be careful with that, because those items do heat up, and that one outlet can barely survive that, and the amperage on those can heat up. We have seen some small fires because of that in houses, or RVs and things burn down because they're not capable of handling that kind of amperage that are going through that. And during Christmas, same thing with Christmas lights and getting those overloaded. Make sure that they're safe, they're secure, and you don't have too much overloading on those lights, on those lighting. Keep fire extinguishers handy and know how to use them. Keep one nearby your kitchen, and use an all-purpose fire extinguisher, an ABC fire extinguisher. That takes care of the majority of most all fire extinguishers. And you can pick up a fire extinguisher at Walmart or Kmart or Walmart or Target or any home improvement store that would be in your area to your liking. And they're relatively inexpensive compared to a small fire that could cause thousands of dollars and possibly take the lives of your family members. So make sure that you have a fire extinguisher nearby, and keep your equipment and your fire extinguishers and your smoke alarms up to date. Portable heaters and candles, keep those away from your furniture and curtains. They do have electronic candles. I know it doesn't replace the ambiance of a real candle, but if you're going to have a real candle nearby, please ensure that you monitor that, make sure a pet doesn't knock it over and catch the room on fire, or the carpet, or a child bumps it or burns himself. Those could be detrimental to them as well. And do not smoke in bed. We get a lot of folks that fall asleep smoking a cigarette and their mattress catches on fire because of the different types of chemicals and the way that manufacturers make mattresses now. Most of them are relatively flame retardant, but we do still have some that catch fire and they smolder and then they start to burn a whole room. Pool safety. Never leave your child unattended or near water. I can't stress this enough. Designate somebody to watch those children while they're in a pool. If you're having a pool party or if you're having a get-together, have somebody. Stay off their phone, stay off social media, not watching a TV that's mounted outside. Watch your children. We can't stress this enough. Have somebody watch your children, or a group of children are unattended in a pool area. We don't want anybody to get hurt or killed. Losing a loved one like that is never easy for anybody. Teach your children to swim. There are many, many areas that teach children to swim. Aqua Tots is one of them. I know there's a few others that are in the area. But teach them. They'll enjoy that. You'll enjoy having a peace of mind knowing that your child can swim. In the event they fall or trip and they get all in there, they can get to the side and pull themselves out, or at least hang on until somebody gets there. Teach your children to stay away from the bottoms of the drains of the pools. There are intakes that go back to the filtering system, and they're very powerful and very strong. Sometimes when the kids dive for their toys, their hair might be long enough where it gets sucked into one of those and they can't pull themselves away. That we want to try to keep every parent aware of where those drains are and keep the children away from those areas so that they can't get caught. Install proper barriers, covers, and or alarms around your pool and spa. You know, having a fence around your pool is great, but if the locks and the mechanisms that support your pool and support the locking doors that are on there aren't working properly, then it does no good. Make sure that those doors, those latches, the hinges, they're not rusted, rotted, bent, broken, twisted where a child can get in. Be aware of these children to have large chairs or something where they can scale the fence and get over. Try to keep those away from the edges of the fence line where they can climb over and get into the pool without and being unattended. Know how to perform CPR. Find your local CPR outlet, get certified, help a child, help an adult. CPR can be found anywhere. You may find somebody in a grocery store that has a heart attack. You may be on somebody with a car crash. It could be just what we're talking about, your backyard. A lot of different things are useful to having CPR, and it's a very short class, but it sure makes a big difference in somebody's life. If you're supporting their heart while ambulance and fire are on their way, that can get you further medical treatment and help. Personal protection. Consider purchasing a dog or adopting a dog through maybe one of the shelters if you choose to have some type of personal protection in your home. Animals tend to bark at lots of things coming in and out of your house. That alerts you and gives you time to do that. They also alert on when there's a fire as well. A lot of animals do. If there's something that's been barking, and the dogs will start alerting all the family members that something is wrong. They know something is wrong. We're not telling you to purchase a dog, but we're recommending that if you do, dogs are good tools to have around the house, as long as you can care for them and take good care of them and provide shelter and water and food for them. Be allowed to create attention in a case where somebody is nearby. in that event, make sure that if something does happen, you can create that noise, yell at your neighbor, yell for help so somebody can hear you. Make sure you have that opportunity to do that. Martial arts. There are so many different martial arts facilities that are around, and I'm not going to name all of them, but there are many types of arts that are out there that you can take, from karate to taekwondo to jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of different styles. I can't recommend one over any other one, but there are many that you can take, and they're relatively inexpensive for lessons to take to protect yourself. Consider purchasing a firearm and educate yourself along with state and federal local laws in your area. Most of the folks that sell firearms and the companies that sell firearms have CCW classes that will not only teach you about firearm safety, but they'll help walk you through the nomenclature, how to use it properly, how to store it properly, what kind of ammunition to purchase, and make sure that you're proficient in that firearm in the event you ever need to use that firearm, and use it the correct way, and go over state laws that are with it, that are associated with it in your state. And if you do get into a situation, the biggest thing that we want you to do as law enforcement officers, we want you to de-escalate the situation. We don't want you to continue to try to make this worse than it really is. De-escalate any altercation that you can, if you can, and call the police if you need to. But we want you to de-escalate and try not to get in that altercation if there's another way to make that better. And last but not least, do not bring a knife to a gunfight. We don't want to challenge somebody that's got a gun and you pull out a knife. Don't do that. You can have knives, you can have guns, but be careful on using either one of them. They're both lethal weapons. We just want to make sure that you're safe. Vehicle safety. Vehicle safety in Arizona is a big one for us, and a big one for me that I have a lot of experience in. First thing that we want to make sure is that adjust the vehicle to you. You know, when you get to your vehicle, make sure you do a quick walk around. Make sure your tires aren't low. Make sure that there's nothing blocking your vehicle in front or the back of it. Once you get inside there, adjust the vehicle to you. Check your mirrors, make sure that the rear view mirror, the side mirror, all those are adjusted to your height and your body stature. Wear your seat belt. Keep in mind on the B pillar, there is an adjustment for your seat belt to go higher or lower for those that are shorter or for taller. You can adjust that seat belt properly so it doesn't dig into your neck. Make sure that you ensure that the seat belt is actually buckled in there and you don't have any false sense of being unsecured. Tug on that. Once you lock it in, tug on it and make sure it's safe. Always adjust your, have at least 10 inches between you and the steering wheel, and that you can clearly see over the steering wheel. Adjust that properly so that you're over that. Airbags come out at an extremely fast pace, and if it hits you and if you're too close, it could potentially hurt you or kill you. When you get in there, secure all your passengers. Ask your passengers, even the adults, to secure their persons with a seat belt with the lap and the shoulder. And if you don't have a lap and a shoulder, they should have at least lap belts in the back. While you're going down the road, do not text, and drive. Texting and driving is one of our #1 killers in the United States for those that have been fatally killed, because they're taking their eyes off the road for just a minute, and closing your eyes just for a split second, you can travel the whole length of a football field and end up winding off in the side of the road or winding into the oncoming lane and hurting somebody. Do not drive impaired. Alcohol, drugs, whatever the case, if you are under the influence, please do not get behind the wheel of a vehicle. The worst case scenario is you kill yourself or you kill somebody, and if you end up getting a DUI, it could cost you into the thousands of dollars and could wreck your career. And with all the classes and mandates and fines that are associated with it, it's not a good idea to drink and drive. We want everybody to go home safe and be with their loved ones and not hurt or take anybody else's loved one. Adjust your radio to hear emergency vehicles. Sometimes people have their earbuds in their ears or their AirPods or their radios up so loud that they can't hear the fire engines or the police cars that are trying to respond to somebody that's actually in need of in an emergency. Seconds count in our job. We want to make sure that we get there quickly, expediently, safely, and having to go around you and into oncoming traffic is a very big detriment for us, because we don't want to go into oncoming traffic and have somebody come head on with us. But we want to get to those that are in need and in danger very quickly, because seconds do count in a life-threatening situation. While you're out and about, know your surroundings. Be aware of what's around you. Be aware of traffic lights. Be aware of what's any wrecks ahead. Be aware of any potential problems, construction zones, things like that. Be aware of those. Stay off your phone. Stay off of any social media that you're dealing with while you're trying to drive. Know your surroundings so that you don't wind up as a casualty and you injure yourself or somebody else or destroy your car. Drive the speed limit. There's many cases where speed is a killer. Driving too fast in areas that don't require you to drive that fast. Trying to slow down in an area, you could potentially hurt somebody or kill somebody that's walking across the road. And trying to stop a 4,000-pound bullet is not very easy. Using Bluetooth devices, you can use, there's many hands-free devices that are out here nowadays, from the speakerphones from Motorola to your cars that are set up for it, and to just having an earpiece in your ear. There's many different devices. You can stick it to your dashboard on different magnetic type setups, or beanbag setups on your dash or your dashboard, but you don't have to, just find yourself a way to be able to use both hands on the steering wheel at any given time. Secure your vehicle. As simple as that may be, we get a lot of people that don't secure their vehicles, and usually in the mornings somebody's rummaged through their vehicle and that have gone through the console and gone through the area next to the center console and taken out their change or their cell phones, and they've rummaged through all of that and taken all their personal property that's out of there. So we want you to secure your vehicle. We want you to hide your valuables out of plain view. Don't leave your firearms in your vehicle. We get a lot of that, where people hide their firearms within their vehicle and they want to report it stolen, and we ask them how they secure their vehicle, and they usually tell us they forgot. So make sure you take those firearms out of your vehicle, secure them in a safe in your home or in a good area. Don't leave them unattended, and definitely don't leave them in plain view. One thing in Arizona gets extremely hot. Our ambient temperatures are in the hundreds. We get well over 100 degrees, 150 degrees inside that car. Do not leave a child in the back in their car seat or unattended back there while you turn the vehicle off or run in, or even forget. If you know you have a child that's in the back seat, always put something back there that reminds you where you have to go back there to get. Leave your purse, leave something back there, a shoe, anything that will remind you to be able to go back there to get that, so that reminds you that there's a child that's been left behind back there. That way you can't leave that child there and put them in danger. Once those children are buckled in there, they can't get themselves out of it. They're stuck there. Same thing goes with pets. Don't leave your pets in a hot vehicle as well. That ambient temperature with having them covered with hair, it's extremely hot for them, and they can't survive as well.